Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. If you are looking at the title and you are worried that I'm going to bash on your favorite game, Palworld, don't worry, I'm not. That's not what this video is about. However, Palworld has kind of accelerated a problem, or accentuated a problem, should I say, that a lot of people have been talking about for quite a while. But I don't think enough people have been discussing this. And this is, of course, surrounding the allegations that Palworld's developers used AI to make the game. Asmongold made a video a few days ago and it did not go down well. Well, it's not that it didn't go down well. It was clipped out of context on one of his streams and it sparked a massive debate. And I think we should look here at this clip.
Artists' opinions don't matter. It just doesn't matter, because what matters is the opinion of the people that are buying the product. Like, it doesn't, like, your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares. Like, it's not relevant. It's like whenever one of these, like, you know, really well-respected and really respectable directors talks about how bad Marvel is. Shut up, old man. Shut up. I like watching the Thor movie. It was cool.
Now, something important to note here. I think the context was very much missed on this. At the end of the day, he's right. He's absolutely right. And I know a lot of people will just say that Asmongold is right on something because it's Asmongold, right? And they want Asmongold to react to it. The difference is, Asmongold is actually right here. What he's trying to state is not that, you know, nobody should care about the artists. What's happening with artists and AI at the moment, where their images were used to train these AI that are now quite literally taking their jobs, that is sad. That is unfortunate, and I really do feel for the artists, as does pretty much anyone in the industry, right? What he's trying to say, though, is it's real, it's true. As Asmongold would say, it's based and true. And that is that 80% of gamers, in fact 80% is even being generous, it's probably close to 95%. 80 to 95% of gamers do not care how their game was made, who made it, if it was even made in a year or 4 years. A lot of them just don't care, because at the end of the day they're looking at the value proposition. Am I having fun with this game? Yes. Was it worth the money I paid for it? Yes. Have I got that much, you know, have I got that amount of money's fun out of this game? And if the answer is yes, they don't care. Plain and simple. And it's not just gamers. It's absolutely not just gamers. This applies to social media, to any type of media, really. Let's take a look at books and publication. If we look at this objectively, an award-winning novelist recently submitted a novel that won an award. Wow, what a concept. But the big thing here is that they then went on to announce afterwards that the thing was entirely written with ChatGPT. So, you know, it's kind of an issue across the board. And although people would like to think, oh, well, the 20% or, you know, 5% that do care about this should be kicking up a fuss. You know, that there should be a big issue being raised here. Well, here's the top and bottom of it. Because people are surprised that Adobe added generative AI to Photoshop. That just goes against everything, right? That goes against the point of it. 80% of their customers don't care for the ethics of it, right? They see a tool that can do something for them that they were otherwise not able to do. And they go, wow, that's fantastic. 80% of the workforce around the globe is manual labor. Most of those people can't program, can't do high-end art, can't do any of these things, and don't want to pay for them. What's the value proposition to those people when it comes to AI? They pay £20 a month? Wow, they're an artist. Wow, they're a programmer. Wow, they don't need to pay for online lectures anymore. Because let's be real, their tutors were Googling most of the stuff anyway before the lectures. ChatGPT's doing it for them. Now, am I saying AI is fantastic? Am I saying it's good that it's, you know, replacing all these people's jobs? No, it's horrific. It's horrific, but what I'm saying is, I think the time for worrying about AI and the time for coming up with a plan to regulate it, that's gone. That was 3-4 years ago. That's when the time for worrying was. Because now, that's gone. Pandora's box is open. The toothpaste's out of the tube. It's not going back in. We can't undo what has been done. And I think this is the bit that is troubling a lot of people. Like, truly troubling people. If you look at it as a problem that we should have solved but didn't, you realise how bad this is. You realise how catastrophic this is for many industries. And if you don't believe me, because I know that there are a lot of middle-aged men on the internet that are still using the argument, oh, well, Midjourney can't even draw hands. Of course it's not going to take my job. No, Rodney from Liverpool that works in a steel mill, it is not going to take your job. Yet. But on the other hand, no pun intended, the hand argument for generative AI is one of the silliest that I've heard. Have people not been keeping up to date on this over the last 2 years? AI is very sophisticated now. When it comes to imagery, it can nail that. There's no problem. Sure, you occasionally get the odd hand that looks a little bit odd, but guess what? It took the image generator less than 2 seconds to generate that image. You can do it again, and it's probably going to get the hand right. So that argument just doesn't fly. And to further support this, look at all the companies recently that have started to get rid of like 15% of their workforce from a game studio. That's probably the art department. And from what we can tell, a lot of the people that were sacked from all of these game studios are artists. Why is that? I don't think I need to tell you why that is. I think it's abundantly clear. Because again, something people are forgetting is these generative image AIs that are available online, they're not the top end ones. They're just the most available. Everyone thinks Midjourney, oh, Midjourney is AI image generation. No, it's not. That's just the most prevalent and most well known. The reality of it is, these AI image generators can be run locally on your computer much quicker and without any of the guardrails that are put in place. Again, people are like, oh, how did fake nudes of Taylor Swift end up on the internet that were AI generated when none of the AI generators allow you to? You can't generate nudity. Yeah, through their site, because it's a liability to them. If you're running a locally hosted AI image generator on your PC or your server at home, what's stopping you from doing that? Literally nothing. A lot of people aren't aware of how far AI has come and what it is now doing. And in terms of gaming, this is problematic. Not in terms of palworld. Palworld has raised this kind of debate, and it's an interesting one for me. If you really think about it, this is just the beginning of the end. I know a lot of people, and by the way, I'm not going into whether I think these allegations are right or wrong, whether they did use AI or not, because at the end of the day, my opinion on it doesn't really matter when the point stands. And the point that stands is, people don't care. People absolutely don't care. And if this is the case, that they did use AI, and this game was made with AI, and it's sold, what, 9-10 million copies now? People don't care. The floodgates are wide open now. I'm seeing so many people saying, oh, well, it does matter because it's against Steam's terms of service. Steam ban AI-generated content for games. You can't publish a game that's got AI content in it. Oh boy, have I got news for you. They walked back on that one silently about a week ago completely. That rule is gone. You can now post AI games. And don't you think the timing of this is very funny? As I mentioned, many game studios recently have been getting rid of a lot of their workforce, mostly artists. Why are they doing that? Because the games they're working on, these, next big AAA games that are the kind of hallmark and staple of Steam's, income, they're using AI. Or they will be using AI, or it will be partly AI generated. They can't afford to blacklist every AAA game that's currently in development from their marketplace. And this is where the problem lies. Ethics end when money is involved. And this is going to happen to a lot of industries. A lot of people who are currently against AI are slowly going to realize that it's a if you can't beat them, join them kind of situation. And why is that? A lot of people are looking at AI being, used in games as a race to the top. Who can do the most, the bestest, Which isn't the case at all. It's actually the opposite. It's a race to the bottom. You're not going to get better games because people are leveraging AI. They're not leveraging AI. They're using it to replace artists. AI can probably do 80% of, like, it can probably do work to about 80% of the quality of a good artist. But on the other hand, it costs them nothing. Now, as a game studio, would you, A, want to keep 30 artists on full payroll, maybe even 100 artists, depending on the size of your studio, and get 100% quality work? Or would you rather not pay the millions during the development of that game to those artists, get 80% of the quality, and get it instantly? Like, click your fingers and get it instantly. Now, if you have morals and you believe in you don't believe in the ethics of AI, you would say, well, I would have the staff. Now, your competitor doesn't have morals, and they have fired all their staff, minus 1 or 2 artists to just touch up some of the AI stuff. Because, like I say, it's not perfect, right? If the 80% of the work can be done instantly, and they're doing that, you have to do it. You have to do it to catch up. Because at the end of the day, your customers do not care. It's objective. It's objectively true. Your customers, for the majority, do not care how your game was made, as long as they enjoy it and they think they got their money's worth. So it's a race to the bottom. Who can do the least amount of work, the least amount of cost, while the quality remains about the same? So realistically, we don't benefit as gamers, which is unfortunate, because AI was supposed to make everything better, right? And you're also probably now thinking, well, Cal, you've just completely invalidated your own argument, saying that it doesn't matter, right? So why are we saying that this is a debatable thing? Well, when something like this, is a race to the bottom, Steam is going to become a dumping ground of AI slop. Because here's the thing. If you have the ability to churn out a game a week, which, yes, you absolutely can with AI, you can churn out a clone of another game, or a, game-like game, or a kind of, closely inspired version of a game. You can churn one of those out in a week, and it can be 80%. ChatGPT can program now. And I'm not just saying, it can write a few lines of code and copy from Stack Overflow. It can code. It can comment its code, and then it can perfect its code. You don't need to ask it to help you with something anymore. You just give it your code and say, something isn't working here. The other week, to test this out, I made a Discord game in a Discord bot in about 3 hours in an evening that has an SQL connected database. The schematics for it were generated by ChatGPT, maintained by ChatGPT, and linked to a second database for something later down the line. It can do this. So now, instead of spending all this money on hiring a programmer, or all these months on learning programming, you can learn by failing forward. You can program something that is abysmal, that is poorly optimized. You can give it to ChatGPT. And by the way, I know people tried to call me out on this last time, saying that it couldn't program properly. The premium version of ChatGPT is so far ahead now, so far ahead of the free version. I really think half of you just don't understand the sophistication of ChatGPT Plus. You don't just use a generic ChatGPT, you use a custom GPT. You tell this ChatGPT model, you are this, you are doing this, this is your job, here's how I want you to do it. And it becomes that person. It becomes a programmer that is hyper-focused on Python and SQL, including the SQLite plugin for Python. It knows all of those like the back of its hand, meticulously down to every detail. And the people who are mocking AI, just for the fun of it, aren't even aware that these are things. Do you know that that the current ChatGPT Premium has access to the internet? It has access through a web browser. It's not 2 years out of date or a year out of date. It is up to date to the minute. So, yes, AI is coming to take people's jobs. And I'm not doing this to fearmonger or to just scare people. It's the truth. And if you want an example, if you want proof that this is what's going to happen to Steam, look at ArtStation. ArtStation has lost all popularity because of the amount of AI-generated slop that has just been dumped on there. And people say, well, don't look at it. If you go in an ArtStation, just don't look at the AI art. It's about volume. The volume of AI art being just spat out onto ArtStation makes finding stuff you like a chore. Right? It was a human site made for human art, for humans to upload that human art, and humans to look at it. It's not that anymore. Even though they've now got a designated tag for AI art, it isn't that anymore. And that's really unfortunate. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. And there is an ultimate problem that I have seen nobody discuss. Nobody at all. And this is, again, revolving around the cat's out the bag, Pandora's box is open. We need to ban the training of AI on, other people's data, on images that people have created. And this is going to sound weird. I don't think we should. I think we should have banned it before it was done, but now that it has been done, it will actually do more harm than good by banning it now. And hear me out. There are currently 3 companies that abused the hell out of training on other people's data before the law came in against it, right? Whether they follow that law now or not doesn't even matter. What happens when they now ban the startup AI companies from using other people's data? The data that the other AI were already trained on. Well, if lawmakers and officials decide that you're no longer allowed to train on that data and they actually enforce it, there are 3 companies now that are light years ahead in AI technology than anyone will ever get to by training on, legal data. And it gets worse. Because of this, officials and, lawmakers and governments will have actually just handed 3 major AI companies, or I think it's probably even just 2, a monopoly on a silver platter. A monopoly that literally will not be able to be toppled because no one can train up to that degree of, quality. Because at the end of the day, it's everyday information that these AIs need to be trained on. Do I think it's right? No. Is it a problem that is made worse by actually trying to solve it now? Yes. I think it is. I can't give a solution to any of these problems. I genuinely can't, and I don't think anyone can anymore because I don't think there is a solution. What I see happening now is we're actually going to have to come to terms with the fact that we have let things get this far. And it's here for good now. For better or worse, it is here. And it's staying. And it's not going anywhere. And before you know it, you will be allowing companies to train on your data. You'll be allowing them anyway. Google has their own AI. The company that nobody trusts. But what do? We store all of our images on the cloud, where we basically give them full rights to look through it and do whatever the hell they want with them, except for use them for advertising. Their AI is going to be integrated into phones very, very soon. In fact, this very morning, Galaxy S24 Ultra arrived on my doorstep. It's got a full AI built into it. And do you want to know what? You're going to think, well, people aren't going to buy that. They're going to move to iPhone. No, iPhone will have one too. iPhone will have one too. Why? Because 80% of consumers, once again, don't care about the negatives of AI. My nan, if I gave her this phone, would be astonished at the fact that she can just hold down on an image and an AI will tell her exactly where that is in the world, who built that statue, where did it come from, how was it made, what's it worth, without her having to do anything, without having to interface with Google. She can scribble on a phone, and the AI turns into perfectly formatted notes in your notepad. And 80% of people are just happy that that exists. They don't care that some artist that they've never met, never heard of, is angry. That is the truth. That is the harsh, cold truth. And genuinely, this is going to sound harsh, but I think the sooner we all stop collectively crying into our milk about what AI has done to our industry or what it's done to my job, and the sooner we start to look at how to rectify and deal with what is now, out in the world. We've fucking released Imhotep from his tomb. What do we do now? The sooner people start focusing on that, the better things are going to get. Ladies and gents, I really hope that this hasn't come across as a ranty video. I know it is a bit more ranty than normal, but it is something that I have had many passionate conversations about recently, and it is something that is affecting everybody, and we definitely need to discuss it. I think we can all agree on that much. Anyway, ladies and gents, as always, a massive thank you to the patrons. You guys are absolute legends. And until next time, take care.